I could feel his ribs as I wrapped my arms around his chest. His bones were now like bird bones, light and fragile. Slowly, gently, I lifted him out of his wheelchair and into the passenger seat of my SUV, and then knelt to lift up his white-socked ankles as he rotated to face forward. He winced a little, but made no sound. It was awkward getting him seated, because his portable oxygen tank needed to go into the floorboard of the back seat. I then had to snake the tubing around the side of the seat while tugging it to loosen up some more slack. Next, I helped him arrange his catheter and urine bag so that we could attach his seatbelt. Lastly, I draped a blanket across him to keep him warm. 2 years ago, I had found it embarrassing and strange to be in such close contact with him, to clean his privates, and to witness his increasing physical weaknesses. I think he was embarrassed then as well, but embarrassment is a luxury for the healthy. Those who are tasked with the process of dying have more important issues to deal with. The sun had not broken the horizon as we pulled out of the driveway and headed west. Snow was predicted to start falling by noon, and though I had four-wheel drive on my Nissan Pathfinder, I knew the traffic on Interstate 40 could be treacherous. Even in good weather, we still had a 6-hour drive ahead of us. As we drove, he dozed more often than he was awake. His snores were softer and shallower these days. When I was a kid, he would often fall asleep in his chair in front of the television watching Johnny Carson, emitting stentorian snorts until my mother would tug his sleeve and prod him towards bed. My mother was gone now. When he had gotten sick and came to live with me, it quickly became necessary, in order to coexist, to find common musical ground. As a result, now Miles Davis's album So What filled the SUV cabin in low tones. I had come to love classic jazz over the past 2 years, partly because I really did love the music, and partly because it reminded me of him, his youth, and the vitality he had embraced throughout his life. The snow never made an appearance, and around 2 p.m. we turned off I-40 and headed north on Highway 180. A little over 2 hours later, we arrived. Because of the predicted weather, few other people had ventured out today. The parking lot before us was virtually empty. I pulled into a handicapped parking spot and opened the back door of the SUV to wrestle out his wheelchair and bring it around to him. Then, in reverse, we reenacted the scene from earlier this morning, situating him and his oxygen tank onto the chair and rerouting the various tubes that needed rerouting. I pushed him down a sidewalk that led away from the parking lot, past some rental cabins and souvenir shops, before slightly sloping down to a large cement observation deck. Beyond, under the gray skies, stretched the magnificent Grand Canyon. Unlike my father, I had been here before and had hiked down the near side to the riverbank below. But we wouldn't be hiking today. I rolled the wheelchair to a stop beside an empty bench and checked to make sure that he was securely wrapped in the blanket that enveloped him. Then I sat on the bench beside him, and we spent the rest of the day gazing into the spectacular chasm before us. At one point, I slipped my hand into his and said, "I love you, Dad." He squeezed back and didn't let go until he was too tired to hold on any longer.